Let's see.
All right, there we go. We are streaming now. And now we're live on Facebook. Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on CAG Chat tonight. I am joined by my co-host. I'm Sherman Hardy, and I'm joined by my co-host, uh, Levon Reedy Thomas, and also Tanya Wingfield. Thank you so much for joining us. I believe Derek and Donna will probably join us later. But tonight we have a special guest on. We have Darryl Barnes with Maryland National Capital Parking Planning, and we're going to go ahead and get started with him. And just one moment. Let me go ahead and get him on camera. Hey, sir, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us here on CAG Chat tonight.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. And so I just want to jump right into it. And I'm going to preface this for those that don't know you. I'm going to just say this. Please, sir, do not take 30 minutes to introduce yourself. I know when we give you the opportunity, you like to run with it. As you say, when you were a politician, it's like being a pastor.
That's
So,
right.
for those who may not know you beyond your years in the legislative, who is Darryl Barnes?
Real quick, I am now the chairman of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning. I started on July the 8th. I am a little over my 100 days in office. And let me just say, I am excited. Every day is a new day, a new adventure. And I try my best to turn challenges into opportunities.
Mhm.
Listen, I am excited. I try to follow the footsteps of some of those that have preceded me in a way in which I can try to make a difference in this county. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, my job is to turn Prince George's County into a destination for the nation. I have that ability through our planning department and working closely with DPI in our permitting process. My job is to speed up zoning and permitting in a big way because right now it's taking way too long to get a project off the ground. And if we don't speed it up, hell, I'll be dead and gone before we get a shovel in the ground and crane in the air.
Oh wow, that's definitely a good explanation of what's going on. I definitely understand, the concerns with DPI, and also watched one of the council meetings when they said that they were having challenges with parking planning. So we look forward to you make some great changes over in that department. I have faith that you will get it done. So again, there's often confusion about the Maryland National Capital Parking Planning Commission and what they actually do. Some people think it runs all the parks, other think it just controls development. From your seat, what is parking planning and what isn't it?
But right now, I am the chairman of the commission. The commission is made up of Prince George's County and Montgomery County. On the Prince George's County side, I am in charge of 161 miles of walking trails, 29,000 acres of parkland, 45 recreation centers, 7 senior centers, 6 golf courses, and hell, we even own 2 airports. I am also over a 200-man park police department. Combined between Prince George's County and Montgomery County, I am over $1 billion organization. So as you can imagine, my day-to-day operation is vast. Uh, Let alone oversee a 200-person planning department, which is responsible for zoning and subdivisions and planning within the county. So we work closely with the county executive, the county council, DPI, and other agencies throughout the county and throughout the state as far as transportation. So in a nutshell, that is pretty much my operation.
No, sounds like you have quite a bit going on as it pertains to um, your responsibilities and what are you going to be overseeing now. I noticed you said we have 2 airports that you run. What's up with that? Like, are they operational? Like,
Yeah, the
what are we
oldest
getting from that?
port in the country is in College Park.
Hmm.
The other one is off of Croom Road.
Okay.
Yeah, and the one in College Park, both of them are operational.
Cool. So Prince George's County has long wrestled with questions of growth, equity, and identity. As the chair, what's your vision for how planning and parks can shape for the next chapter of Prince George's County?
One of the things that I've always said when I took this job is that we don't do a great job of telling our story. Most people, to your point, don't understand or know what we do. My job is to try to transform Prince George's County in a big way. I've told folks now that I have an affection for planning and really trying to figure out what we can do to make Prince George's County what we all on this call want it to be. You know, as I look through our 27 municipalities should tell a story. Each municipality should reflect who they are in the culture and the history of that particular municipality. Meaning District Heights should be totally different than Capitol Heights, and Capitol Heights should be different than Fairmont Heights or Laurel or Bowie, simply because each city or town reflects a rich culture and history of who they are. Listen, I just got back from Orlando and I looked at Orlando, and Orlando was clean streets, the elevation of their building, the architectural designs. I just got back from Arizona and I looked at Arizona and I looked at their townhomes community and the quality of the material and other things that they use. I just got back from Las Vegas and I got off the Las Vegas Strip and I went way into the communities and I looked into the communities and saw how they were planned out. And then I started thinking, why are we doing those things in Prince George's County?
Mhm.
Right? Why
Yeah,
are we
yeah.
looking at some of the things, same things that reflect who we are in our culture and our history? So I've been trying to the best of my ability to amplify that message that we must look at things differently and we must do things differently if it's going to reflect who we are and the culture of Prince
Yeah.
George's County.
I love that you say that because I definitely have been looking outside of Prince George's County and I have some ideas. Um, for one, when you were in Orlando, I wish you had gotten an opportunity to go look at some of the equestrian centers that are there. When I say that they are, they're massive and they generate income on a daily basis, and I think that's something that we definitely need to look into. Especially, I talk about this every time I mention the Showplace Arena. That sound, God knows we need to fix it, and I hope that somebody does something about it. Especially because the kids do their graduation there. You know,
And
but
now
and we have the International Horse Show. I'm sorry.
all of the
All of them will
schools
do
will
it.
be graduating at the equestrian center this year. So
Hmm.
if I was a parent at High Point and I had to drive all the way down here for graduation, and I know that the facility at University of Maryland has great sound and ambiance,
Hmm.
that has to be stepped up because I can anticipate folk are not going to be happy. But anyway, keep going.
Thank you for that brief interlude. But yes, I definitely feel as though, because when people come to that location, where do they go? When they're not performing or not in that show. And we got to make sure that we capture all of that. So that and also a whitewater center like how they have in Charlotte. I think that would be phenomenal to have in the county. So that's something that you can look at, thinking future wise. But I definitely agree with some of the key points that you were making, and as far as development, having connected communities, because Levon and I talked about this quite often, how the communities aren't connected, and there's roads, or where there should have been a road
Mhm.
to alleviate some of the traffic, it was closed off, and that I think that's some of the things that parking planners should look at on a different aspect, connecting
Well,
communities and making sure that
Sherman,
they're actually walkable. I'm
You,
sorry.
yeah,
you, you know,
you
let,
got to remember in some areas that was done purposely
yeah,
True.
but
back in the
let,
70s.
let me just address some of those things.
Hmm.
And listen, I agree with everything you guys think and say. But in some cases, and LaVon knows probably better than most of us on the call because she come from working in Prince George's County government.
Hmm.
And I say that simply because my hands are tied to a certain degree on some of the things I can and cannot do, simply because some of the codes and the ordinance are so old and antiquated, which does not allow me to make certain changes and do certain things. Right. So I am internally trying to change some of those things for the betterment of what I'm talking about. I can't make Prince George's County a destination or have better street lights and the roads and everything else simply because the codes does not allow certain things, right?
Hmm.
Which is very frustrating for me, simply because I am just like one of you all on the call. I'm from Prince George's County. I want the white tablecloths, the restaurants, and the shopping, and all the other amenities that we've all been advocating for many, many years. Uh, but I am stuck in a vacuum to some degree, that there are some things that I can and can't do. I can't speed up certain processes, but those are the things that I am working on internally to try to change some of those things in the next 100 days that I am in the seat.
Thank you. And that brings me to my next question, because um, the planning department is updating the master plans, and as we mentioned with Lavon, you saw her at one of the meetings. So the master plans and the zoning maps at a time when residents are calling for both more development and for more protection. How will the commission balance these competing pressures, especially in places in the rural tier and also around the 210 corridor?
So I'll give you another example. I've only been here maybe 120 days. We're working off an old master plan of 2035. When other places in the region are working off a plan 2050, right? So we are now starting to work on plan 2050. So I've just got the green light that we can start to work on plan 2050, because you got to think, once again, when I talk about my hands are tied, when Plan 2035 was created, we didn't have rideshare or Uber or any of those things, right? So we are working in a vacuum when Virginia, Montgomery County, Charles County, and other places are 2 steps ahead of us simply because of where we are in the county. So those are some of the frustrations and the angst that I have, that I want, once again, the same things that most people want. My hands are just tied until I can unloose this bondage around me to be able to speed up certain things.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, because it causes me angst and it actually keeps me up at night. No lie, no bullshit. Excuse me. Because I'm like, 2035 is around the corner. We have like 10 years. And I'm like,
Yeah,
2 of those years are going to be permits. Like, what are we doing, to get there? And I feel a sense of urgency, because I'm like you said, and I'm happy to hear that we're working on 2050, because I've been like, hey, we barely finished 2035, but we need to be planning strategically for the next,
absolutely.
term, because government doesn't turn overnight.
Yeah.
It takes time. And so I'm appreciative, knowing that you guys are definitely working on 2050, but and you're looking at the landfill and the playing field from where we are right now, because as you said, we can't work on old master plans, and I know that we can't stop moving as well. So how are you going to work simultaneously, ensure that we are working for the future, but that we're also trying to not still go off of the plans of the past, because those plans are going to take time.
Yeah, so I have started having a series of conversations with builders, developers, land use attorneys, so they all can kind of hear my vision,
Hmm.
right? I have challenged my planning department to be a little bit more bolder and aggressive in some of the things that we are approving and what
Hmm.
we want to see. I've challenged them to say, listen, what do you want on your resume, that you've put a Royal Farms on every corner, or that we've actually expanded and grown the county? So
Right.
I've done all that I can, not all that I can do, but I've pushed the envelope with everyone that would listen to me, that I want
Hmm.
the county to reflect who we are in the culture, right?
Hmm.
And if I don't push that, then we're going to continue to get the same things that we're getting. So once again, I've met with the 27 municipality leaders to say, I want to now start building where you're creating destinations within your own municipality. So
So,
those are some of the things that I'm doing.
so who are we, Darryl? I mean, I hear what you're saying. I know for decades we've talked about us being the most highly affluent, educated, wealthy African American county. Well, Charles County is superseding us.
Yeah.
They had a big event at the Ulta Beauty store in Waldorf 2 weekends ago. And the reason is because they had #1 sales of a certain product that the person hosting the event. So they had nationally known fashion, this, that, and the other person, Bevy Smith. They have a tenth of our population, even though they're majority Black now. What does that say? I remember when Prince George's County, when we had the elite Black writers, coming to the county, hosting book readings, and we would wrap around the library in line to get our book signed. I went out Friday night with my kids to Jasper's, and I was telling them about when it was the BET soundstage and how you never knew who you were going to run into. And they were amazed. I think that there's a disconnect between who we say we are and who we package ourselves as. And I say that in the sense that we have companies that don't want to do business here or only in certain parts of Prince George's County, and we don't have a counter argument for those businesses as what is our promotion as this African American county. And I'll also add, and I've said this in a few meetings, and because I have to jump off at 6:30, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. We have antiquated formulas in how we assess rooftops in our planning for shopping. I live across Route 4 from Westphalia, but my community is not counted in the rooftops for Westphalia retail. So I want you to address that question. And then if Sherman allows me, I'll ask my other question.
Well, I'm gonna make sure you get your other question in there before you leave. Listen, I think you're spot on. I mean, like I said before, you know this stuff probably better than I do. I think there are some things that we're going to have to work through, but more importantly, I need you guys' help. I need you guys' help because you are the voice in the community. So listen, there are certain things absolutely that I can do within my position and on the inside of what I am doing. I think when you start looking at who we are, I do believe that only time will tell how things start to change. I am encouraged by some of the things I'm seeing and reading and the people that I'm talking to on what some of those changes may look like. I'm encouraged that I see the flagship destination in Six Flags, Northwest Stadium, and Morgan Boulevard, simply because when we built out National Harbor was built out on 180 acres. It's now sitting on 300 acres. And National Harbor is our flagship in Prince George's County. If you look at Six Flags sits on 500 acres. So to your point, and getting the community more involved in who we are, I think now's an opportunity to have everybody voice heard on what they kind of want to see at Six Flags, because if Six Flags sits on 500 acres, what is that destination going to be? What is that representation, the history and the culture of Prince George's County? I'm excited about that because I think this is an opportunity in which we're going to be able to do that. Our county executive has helped me and empowered me to work with DPI that we fast track the zoning and permitting in those 3 locations that I said, simply because I need to get a shovel in the ground and a crane in the air, right? Learned that one from my good friend, Derek Davis, how we got to speed this stuff up. It's taking way too long, right? As I said, at the rate that we are right now, 3 years before we actually get a shovel in the ground, and we're talking about a flagship destination, it's going to be over with. So I think when you start looking at those things, I am excited. I really believe that this is our opportunity to define who we are and how we're going to make sure that we're moving this county in the right direction.
I got a quick question though. You said LaVon knows this better than you. You can always hire her.
I said she probably knows this better than I do because
you
she
admit
came
it.
from.
You had another question, Levon? I mean, I did want to ask him, just
See, Tanya, you starting trouble already.
I'm just giving you options. You said you need to
Right.
hear our voice.
I know it. I'm just messing
Well,
with you.
if you had, I mean, I understand that, you definitely want community input, but if you had your dream, your ability to just, wave this magic wand, I always like to say it, or if everybody does, and just make it happen, what would that look like? What would that destination look like for you if you had your way or your department had their way?
Great question. If I had my way, then my planning department would be at work right now, and we'll be working on zoning and permitting. Montgomery County has a program called Speed to Market. which means that they can get a project started in 90 days to 100 days. In Prince George's County today, it takes 3 years. The way we just sped it up with parking planning, I mean, the planning and zoning, permitting, it's now going to take 6 months. And that also includes the public hearing. So we have, in my 100 days, sped up the permitting and zoning from 3 years to 6 months. We're not as quick as Montgomery County, but we sped it up now to where I can at least wave that magic wand, and you can know in the next 6 months that we can get a shovel in the ground and cranes in the air.
I'm glad you did mention that, it's still going to include community input, because I know a lot of people are going to be concerned about transparency and accountability with fast tracking things. So,
Absolutely.
Levon, you had another question before you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a lot, but anybody that wants Darryl to hire me, please send him an email. I have a resume that's ready and available. And I'm serious. So Darryl, call me. But my question is about, you may know that we've created quite a buzz on our Facebook page regarding the project for Temple Hills Community Center and the Boris Henson Foundation. I don't want to interject any of the question marks that we've had, because Sherman reminded us that we stay apolitical in these type of situations. So what can you share with us about that partnership and how it has come to be, and the $30 million that has been allocated for it?
Yeah, well, listen, a lot of this stuff has transpired before I took the job. You don't just come up with creating a $30 million initiative overnight, at least not under my watch. So a lot of this stuff has happened, but I do believe that the partnership with the Boris Henson Foundation is transformative, where we'll bring the additional resources and other things to the county as it relates to our mental health, recreational programs and services that are needed. That I do agree with. I agree that it will be placed in a part of the county that in some cases may need it most, but needed throughout the county. I think it's needed in a part of the county that has not gotten the necessary attention. But listen, as I continue to get my feet wet and roll up my sleeves, I see areas in which we can improve and enhance. I see partnerships and relationships across the board, from the entertainment sector to our local nonprofits and other vendors. I see opportunities for our small business that I think that we will be able to grow this thing and think through how we do business and who we do business with in a real way in real time. I know since I've been in office, we are setting up different guardrails and new policies and procedures on how we fund things, who we fund things to make sure that that input is across the board and is as transparent as it should be. Those things are being worked on and implemented as we speak.
Okay, I'm gonna let that one. I'm not gonna do a follow-up. I'm gonna let that one go, because I know the direction would not be the right direction. So
Thank you so much for
Mr.
adhering to
Barnes.
the rules today, Levon. You are
Yes,
truly
sir.
appreciated.
Always. Look, this is like a job interview right here. So
So I do want to ask there was a recent meetup with Raheem Devon, and we haven't gotten the information or the details yet of what's gonna come to that. Are we about to get some music going on here? I know Councilwoman Begay mentioned something about Motown or something like that. So what y'all got going on? What y'all cooking up?
Listen, I brought Raheem Devon into the building because of some relationships that I have. And I am trying to leverage my position to enhance, motivate an atmosphere within park and planning where it creates excitement. We are working on a concert series for 2026, which is a 2-day festival that I think, once again, it creates that destination for Prince George's County. It creates that excitement. But more importantly, for me, it creates economic development and growth, right? Where if it's a 2-day summit and if I can get thousands upon thousands of people here, now I'm creating jobs. Now my restaurants and my hotels are getting business. And we're bringing folks to Prince George's County. So Raheem Devon is someone that I had conversations with and his team about his relationships and his outreach to bring folks in like Jill Scott, Anthony Hamilton, and other A-listers to Prince George's County to perform. And we can try to create that annual event like DC has or had, like the Soul Music Festival and other things that they did in DC is my vision for Prince George's County.
And I love that because for the longest, because I'm originally from Miami and we have Jazz in the Gardens. And I was like, you know, we need something of that caliber to bring people here. But again, when we bring them here, make sure that they have things to do, not just the concert, but you know, other events
Yeah,
as well. You know, keep them debit cards rolling.
that's what I'm trying to do.
But did anybody else have any questions or
I want to say something in relationship to the art. So during the Baker administration, I served as the as his representative on the board for the Prince George's Arts and Humanities Council. And so I was involved in the conversations about its growth and its impact and becoming this economic participant in those things regarding revenue. But one of the things that I'm concerned about is I know that Park and Planning has its own arts division, and then PGAHC has its own work that it does. What I would like to see is the two entities working more closely. And I'm not saying this in the sense that I know that there hasn't been any growth over the 7 years that I've been out of office. I'm just saying that I don't see in public enough interaction on the activities, not just between Park and Planning and Arts and Humanities Council, but also the nonprofit organizations that are arts oriented. And so that's what I would like to see. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know the specific improvements that need to happen. And I don't want to call out any of the organizations because I don't have permission to speak for them. But as you're looking at how to grow the entertainment industry here in Prince George's County, definitely take those nonprofit organizations into consideration, because I believe it's more than just them applying for grants. It's also giving them exposure so that they can get more donors and more resources that will, you know, kind of loosen up some of their asking of organizations like Park and Planning, Arts and Humanities Council, and the county government. And with that note, thank you so much.
LaVon, what I'm gonna do is bring you in and let you talk to my new director of Parks and Rec, Darius A. Stanton, along with my arts folks, and let's have a conversation, because I love the ideas and I do want to ensure that if we are missing the mark, here is our opportunity to get it right. And if we are already getting it right, then we need to amplify to let folks know what we're doing.
yeah.
Right? So it's a two-way street.
So you don't have her as a consultant.
I'm gonna have her come in.
You're trying to create something.
See, I'm working for you, you know.
You know what?
I do think, in all seriousness, I would love for you to come in and I'll set it up. You can get my contact information from Sherman. But I do think it's an opportunity for us to broaden the conversation. And listen, because we all have a stake in this, right? And I do want to do the best I can while I am in this job, in this role, for the betterment of the citizens of Prince George's County.
And I want to see everybody succeed. And I will say thank you, Darryl, for that invitation. And you know I will follow up. But I actually started my community advocacy with that same type of invitation when I called my then council member at office, Ron Russell, and his assistant, Nell Johnson, brought me in, and she had every agency head at the table for a meeting with me. And I was like, who are these people? And they would, so this guy asked me, who are you? I said, I'm LaVon Reedy Thomas. He said, no, who are you? And I was like, I don't understand. And he said, who do you know? Because you got all these people coming together to meet with you. I didn't even know. And so I thank you for that. And that is what makes the difference. I've sat in that seat with different community leaders, business leaders, et cetera, et cetera. And one-on-one is a lot more effective sometimes than 20 people in the room. So thank you for that. I look forward to it. I got to run. Good night. I see y'all later.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much.
And sir, before we change the subject, because we brought up art, and that's something I love as well. And thank you all for putting the one at the harbor. Have you been to Wynwood lately? Have you been at all?
No.
You have not? Okay. Definitely take a trip, not on the county funds. The go down to Miami and check out Wynwood to the art district. That is something that we should mimic here. And when I moved here and I heard that we had an art district, I was kind of looking for something similar. And it didn't necessarily equate to what I thought it was going to be, but talked with Director Hull as well, because I spoke with her when I first met her at the coffee chat in District 5, and I told her, we need to kind of see about having an actual district, because when you talk about municipalities having their own unique identifiers, I think that would be something that would be unique for one of our municipalities to actually be a true art district. But yeah, is there anything that we haven't covered that you actually, want to say before we let you go? Because I don't want to hold you up.
No, listen, I think I appreciate that. And what I would love to do is meet with you guys more frequently, just to give you guys updates on some of the things that we're doing for your audience, to kind of hear from me directly, as well as to have my director of Parks and Rec and Lakeisha Hall on this call, right? That way, listen, I am doing my best to amplify all the wonderful things that we do within park and planning, because a lot of people don't know. I am doing my best to speed up the zoning and permitting so we can get shovels in the ground and cranes in the air. I am doing all I can for our senior population and all the programs that we have, as well as our youth, right? I just started the Chairman Barnes Youth Advisory Council that is now looking at urban planning and other things to kind of visualize the future of Prince George's County through their eyes. On November 22nd, we're giving out food to those that are in need for Thanksgiving, something that the commission hasn't done traditionally. So we are pushing the envelope and doing things outside of the box to let folks know that we're here, that we're part of them, we're part of the fabric of Prince George's County, and we want to do things a little differently, right? Our job is to work closely with our county executive to help elevate and amplify Prince George's County. In order to do that, in my opinion, we got to have good teaming partners like you guys, right? To make sure that, we hear what you're saying, we hear what you're looking at, and how we can then implement some of those things as quickly as we possibly can. One of the things I wrote down was the sound system in Showplace Arena, right? If we're going to start hosting graduations, then I am going to do what I can to see what we can do as far as the sound, right? No promises, but you got my attention that I am going to look at those things. Whether we get the sound this year or next year, the sound will get improved.
It's on your radar, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the only way that we can make these types of changes is through dialogue and conversations like this, right? So bring it to my attention. Some things I can move quickly. Some things it's a process, right? So, but I will look at it and try to make the changes quickly, because I know kids will be graduating in June.
Oh, if I could put one more
just have-
thing in your ear from when we had a conversation many moons ago, when my hair was much shorter, the dog parks. I think, that's something that we have to, look into as well for our fur babies, to make sure that, we have something in all parts of the county, because that's Starbucks and dog parks are important. And I'm sure you know
Well, you
why.
know what? I just want to make one comment, because I know I've heard art, I've heard dog parks. I haven't heard any one thing, and that I know that I love to see, especially now that my dad is coming up here to live in Maryland,
Mhm.
and he's a country boy, and there's not any fishing that is in our county. So, I mean, when we're talking about recreation, I think we also have to look at what the old country boys like too.
Mhm. I love fishing too, but you better be careful with fishing in these waters because it has PFAS.
Oh, well, you just fish and throw them back.
Okay.
My son, yeah, my son does
I,
that all the
I, I'm,
time.
I'm, I'm gonna take back three initiatives, but what we're actually two: the
Mhm.
sound and the fishing. The dog parks. Every community that we plan out that I have approved on the planning board has
Mhm.
some type of dog parks attached to it.
Okay.
Manny Giraldo, who is one of our commissioners, has an affinity or an affection for dog parks.
Cool.
That he is challenging every developer that comes before us that they must incorporate some type of dog parks or walking
Mhm.
trails within their community. So that one we're doing. The fishing and the sound, I'm gonna work on.
Okay.
And one last thing, Daryl, is there any way, it may already exist, because I am a visual person and being an analyst, I'm used to seeing things as to structure and how things flow. So it would be
Mhm.
nice so that people can understand what is actually under your jurisdiction as far as what you can do and where do you need the partnership from where in the county. It also
Yeah.
helps us to understand when we see the hierarchy and the structure, if something happens that should not be, um, we can speak to it intelligently as well as be able to identify any bottlenecks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
So
you
one
you
of the
looking at people
things since
something you're
I
not supposed to
started,
have.
So one of
Mhm.
the things since I started was to create an office of OPM, which is the Office of Performance Management, to be able to create dashboards internally as well as externally, to let you guys know in real time the projects that we're working on, uh, the bottleneck or where they are, or whatever the case may be. Internally, so they can, my folks inside can see them as well as externally, so the public can see all the things that we're working on and where they are in real time. So with that, I will also make sure that we add the partnerships or the flow chart on how things
Mhm.
are. I will make sure that you all get a org chart or the hierarchy within parking planning, so you guys see exactly how that is, right? Because
Mhm.
listen, we have 5,400 employees, uh, and that's most of those are seasonal, but during the high time, I'm working with over 1,400 employees, 54 seasonal employees. So it is a large organization with so many different moving parts to make sure that we address all of these things. But I would definitely make sure that we get you guys the information so you can share it.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time, and
Thank you.
we look forward to having you back on. And we definitely accept your invitation. And you have an open invitation with
Yes.
us as well.
Yep, I see Donna's on here. Donna, you had a question? Yeah, that's right.
Contractors and ensuring that contractors are doing what they're supposed to do. And forgive me if my cohort hosts already addressed it, but we think MHIC is the organization over top of certified contractors in our county, but I am personally finding out that they can change contracts, they can not do work, they can forge things. And you go to the agency that you think has the control over such things, and we can't seem to uh, understand who does really have authority. And to have this being consistent and definitely utilizing seniors is something that we have to do. I was working on a letter for you, so I will send it. But I just wanted to address that publicly because as I am researching for myself, I'm finding a lot of things going on that are very similar to my situation, and how this is just one company is consistently committing the same acts, and they haven't been removed from being on the list of acceptable contractors.
Yeah, so unfortunately, when it comes to contractors, that doesn't fall under the bailiwick of parking planning, right?
Okay.
Parking planning is just that we plan and we zone out communities. That's our role. That's our job. When you start looking at contractors, permitting, enforcement, that all falls under DPI, right? So
Okay.
it's those two distinctions that I want to make sure that we're clear on. So if there's a zoning issue or a planning of a community issue, that's my role, right? Parking planning plays that major role in that.
Do we make sure that these types of contractors are not involved in any contracts with parking planning?
Now, how that works, I am not sure yet, right? So if a contractor has a discrepancy or a red eye
Complaints, multiple
or
complaints?
multiple complaints, I'm not sure who allows them to continue to build or who does that what. I can find out, and I'm sure you're looking as well, but it doesn't fall under parking planning.
Okay. Even with the zoning, et cetera, that the permits for
No,
that.
Yeah,
no.
so we zone. Who builds
Might not
after
be
we zone
enforced.
it out? That's not under my control.
Okay.
Right.
I'll call you to see if we found out the same person.
And that's fair enough.
All right, sir. It
Thank
was certainly a pleasure having you on again.
Yes, thank you
Hope
very
you enjoy the
much.
rest of your evening.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I got my assignments, and we're going to get your dad fishing when he gets up here.
Okay. Okay.
He can't eat the fish though, Tanya. Dad can't
No,
eat the
no, they throw them back. I mean, they even do that in North Carolina. They catch them
Yeah.
and throw them back.
Catch and
Oh,
release.
All
All
right.
right.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys. Thank you
Okay,
so
have a good
much.
thanks.
No problem.
Okay.
That was a very good interview.
It really was. I'm glad he was able to come on with us.
Yes.
Um, Now let's see. I guess you have something that you want to talk about too.
Did you find that video?
You found it. I definitely have it queued.
Oh,
Well, almost.
yeah, if you can cue it first. Cue. Yeah, we want to talk about, oh, well, Sherman is getting that done. I'm sure people have seen the school system actually promoting their dollars in decision campaign of how they're going to close a $150 million budget deficit, which would have been closed had they just listened to the CFO last year when she presented the budget. But the board had their own bright ideas that they knew better. Some members had only been on the board since December and had the audacity to submit budget amendments to a budget that wasn't approved, which
but
speaks
hey,
to, yeah,
yeah.
just speaks to what they really know. But yeah, ignored what the CFO said, and then the board chair working with the council chair and the then sitting state's attorney, now county executive, forced our superintendent out who understood our budget. And then, of course, they reconciled the budget with Mr. 100-day plan, who gave us his 100-day plan on how he was going to turn this system around. And so now here we are. Oh, okay. And so now here we are with
When did
this.
you actually want me to play the video?
You can play it now.
Okay.
Can't hear it, Sharon.
Oh, hold on a second. Let's see.
Play the video. has progressive Democrats talking and how the county's government is responding.
In 2020, a slate of progressives ran to take over the school board in Prince George's County, Maryland.
In a video tweeted by More Perfect Union, a pro-union activist group, some elected members of the Prince George's County School Board allege there's an effort to overthrow their election. They say the problems began when they voted for an agreement guaranteeing union-scale school construction jobs for county residents.
When the progressive slate came into office, they found that contractors were regularly adding unnecessary millions to construction contracts.
The elected members say once they asked for an audit into school construction projects, they became targets of inaccurate and anonymous ethics complaints.
They were determined to remove us, and they were going to do it by any means necessary.
It was full of a bias.
David Harrington objects to the video. He's the president of the Prince George's County Chamber of Commerce and was featured in it after appearing at a rally, calling for the state to review the ethics report filed against the election.
Did you want me to actually play this or the video?
It was actually the video, but we can just go ahead and
one
just,
moment.
well, no, that's okay, because I do need to drop off at 7 tonight, so we can follow back up on our next one.
Okay.
One of the things that was very important in that video was how Mr. Burrows mentioned that the school system is used as a cash cow for everybody. And why that is so important now, this dollars and decisions that's going on right now, trying to figure out how you're going to cut this $150 million of deficit on our school system. And again, this would not be if last year, when the CFO presented a budget, an experienced CFO presented the budget before the board, with the considerations that there was an expectation that we could have cuts from the federal government because of the incoming, current administration. So all of that was taken into account, and of course the board didn't listen. And this board went ahead and added, I'm going to share my screen really quick because I know we are not going to be on long tonight. And we're going to be doing more following up on this. So the board members, and again, a lot of these board members had not even been on the board a good 6 months. They had just gotten sworn in December. Here it is in February, and they are asking for changes like this. Here's one of the changes that was asked: $10 million to rename schools, because we know some people had asked, "Can I have a school named after me?" Another one, and this amount was actually increased, where they have these parent liaisons that district liaisons, I think what they're calling them, and it's 3 of them being paid somewhere of a tune of $67,000. So each one is with benefits are being paid like $158,000. $158,000 when we are still asking parents to bring napkins and toilet paper and all this other stuff to the schoolhouse. So our board is adding all of this extra onto the budget, and it was somewhere around the tune of $9 million. And this was before the budget was approved and reconciled. So this number actually has gone up.
I had to clip Talia right where you wanted it.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Do you need me to stop sharing?
No.
No, we can see it.
The integrity of the vote that just took place and influenced by the county executive.
The political establishment uses the school system as a cash cow, as a piggy bank.
The people making money off of this are contractors, developers. We're talking millions of dollars more that we're spending on projects that should have been way less than what they are currently.
When the progressive slate came into office, they found that contractors were regularly adding unnecessary millions to construction contracts. They asked for an audit on how these funds were being used.
The chair refused to put it on.
Is that all that you want to play?
Yeah, that's good for now, because we can come back on this. But again, here's some other money wasn't factored in with what the CFO gave. So of course, after they forced Mr. House out, they gave this contract to the current interim superintendent, $365,000 for 1 year. Extremely high for an interim position. Not to mention, he gets the slush fund of $3,000 a month with no requirements. He just gets it. We are contributing to his retirement. So we're you see what that amount is, $73,000. Professional development, $15,000. His life insurance, $14,000. So we are basically paying all that. And that does not include the fact that we're paying his cable bill. We're paying for him to be chauffeured from Gaithersburg because I guess he didn't want to live in Prince George's County. So when he left Washington County, he bought a house in Montgomery County, not Prince George's County, but he loves Prince George's County. So this wasn't part of the budget. So we have this money. We also have, we talked about this other money, but we also talk about just other positions that were added. Now, I have been told that Ron Watson is his contract of $200,000. I was told that would soon be going away if it not has already, simply because him working for the school system is a conflict of interest because he's a state legislator and he has to actually make decisions on legislation that has to do with the school system. We're going to get more of this together. We just to introduce this right now, and we're going to follow back up on our next segment. We're going to be calling this stealing from the schoolhouse, because I am hearing that what is happening after this board allowed things like this to happen, adding additional money onto the budget after it's not recommended by a professional. Also, this slush fund for the current interim superintendent. But I am hearing that now what is happening is our schoolhouse budgets are now being robbed of money. They are going in and checking their budget and finding maybe $50,000 has been moved, $60,000 has been moved from the schoolhouse, $30,000 has been moved from the schoolhouse budget. And so we have Sasser again, like they always do, gobbling up all of the money at Sasser and not making sure that that money is next to our true customers, our students. And to rob students of money like this when you are creating slush funds like what they're doing at this board is criminal. I'm telling you. And for this board to not stand up, for all members to not stand up and say something to Dr. Joseph, if this is what he's doing, he needs to go. He just needs to go. If he's snatching money from the schoolhouse like this, he needs to go. It
He
is
only
nothing
has
more.
how many more months left on the
Oh, you
contract?
know
So
what? Wait a minute. It's
no.
supposed to be it's supposed to be a year contract, but we have a letter that Brandon Jackson sent to the superintendent to the state superintendent saying that he's looking forward to working 4 years with
Oh,
with Dr.
you
Joseph.
know how sometimes we always add that S on the end of stuff.
And that ain't a S. That's a FOUR. That's not an S. So, they can't, they can't even be smart criminals. They just give you all the evidence of what they're going to do. But the important thing here is for those working in the schoolhouse, ask your principal about your school budget. Ask if any money has been taken from your school budget. This is only November. Why are we taking
And where
money
is
from
it
the
going?
schoolhouse?
And where's the
I
money
guess
going to?
it's dollars and decisions. We're trying to close $150 million deficit. Dollars and decisions.
I guess the point that I'm trying, or the question that I'm trying to ask is if they had a balanced budget at the beginning of the year, what
No,
happened
they didn't have
between,
a balanced budget
okay,
now.
they didn't,
They
okay.
had a balanced budget proposed to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't like the superintendent that was going to make sure it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So they forced him out. And then they brought in their yes man who won in 100 days throughout a 100-day plan, but didn't look at what was critical to balancing this budget while he went on a spending spree with our good tax dollars.
With the new ideas.
So now it's, oops, what did we do? Did I do that? Yeah, you did it.
I don't think it's a surprise to anyone who is looking at it that this was done. They're balancing the budget, but I also think a lot of pockets are being balanced as well.
Well, they're balancing off the backs of children.
Yeah.
But they're balancing this off the backs of children by going into the schoolhouse. So for those of you that work in the schoolhouse.
Of moral, of a moral compass. And at this point in time, I don't think that many of them have it.
No.
No. While they're smiling parents' face saying, we're about your children. But when it comes down to you cutting position, why does the school board need a lobbyist? Why does the school board need a lobbyist and the administration has a lobbyist? What vision should the school board have? Your oversight. You shouldn't be planning a darn thing. You should actually be listening to what the superintendent says. Now, of course, if the superintendent is just going to say, well, you won't, then that's a problem. We need to start asking the tough questions.
Yes, we do. And we truly thank everybody who's watched us here tonight. If you missed our conversation with Chair Barnes, please go back and rewatch it. Thank you guys on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for watching.